Yeah. Here we are. Here we are. What is the day? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesdays, man. Thrive 365. First of all, I just want to ask everybody here right now, how was your day?
Man, my day was good. It was rainy, but it was good.
Okay. I'm not. We're gonna even ask your name. I just want to know how was your day, brother?
Great day.
A great day.
Yep.
Lovely lady?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. There you go. People, welcome to Thrive 365, where success, substance, and relationships
Relationships
matter. Come on, man. We thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Dietrich Waters. This is your co-host,
Bernard Polk. Hey, how y'all doing?
straight up and down. Tonight, man, we told y'all we're reaching for the upper echelon. Ain't this a sexy situation? Come on, man. Somebody give some high fives, some thumbs up, something, man. Tonight, even before I even tell you exactly where we are, I want to do something real special because this is real special for me. The people that we're about to bring on really mean something to me because I have had a relationship with the fella for quite some time now. You know, I'm a barber by trade, and I've been knowing this guy, and he's lightweight been my mentor, and I don't even think he's known that. But tonight, I want to introduce you to a man by the name of Jimmie and a woman by the name of Rachel Rogers. They are relationship consultants.
Dynamic couple.
They've been married for about 7 years.
Yep.
7, right?
7
right.
years.
There it is. There it
Give her
is.
all her years.
Give me all my years, reclaiming my time.
Extremely passionate people about building healthy and thriving relationships.
Yes, sir.
You're tuning in to Thrive 365. What better people to bring on than some people that is about thriving?
That's right.
Miss Rachel is an educator.
That's what they say.
Out of the Douglas County system. Anybody that's watching this thing and you're part of the Douglas County system, man, y'all give her some thumbs up right
Okay.
now.
Douglas County.
Yeah.
Okay, Teacher of the Year from 2016, 2017. She's been a teacher for about 22 years.
23.
23. Boom.
What
there
school,
it
what
is.
school? What school is that?
New Manchester High School.
New Manchester High
Jaguars.
School. Y'all better straighten up, New Manchester.
There it is. And you have the one and only her husband, Mr. Jimmie Rogers, which has been dedicated into security, professionalism, education, law enforcement. Okay. I can go on and on, man. This man has many tools. Okay. He has many tools. For all the law enforcement that's out there and for all the militaries out there, man, y'all give a 21 gun salute and some thumbs up, some hearts for Jimmie Rogers. And together, Jimmie and Rachel, they operate an consulting firm called R&R Consulting, and they have a show that is called Relationships Real Talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can y'all
Yes,
tell
sir.
them when it's time to tune in for that?
Well, we air every Sunday right here on Facebook Live from 6 to 7 p.m. on Sundays. We would love to have you guys a part of that. And of course, you know, I'll be sharing it with you and Renard. Guys, we are very honored to be on this show, man.
Oh,
Hey,
You know, when you told me you wanted to do this, man, I started watching and I'm just looking at the following that you guys have developed in such a short time span and the influence that you already have, man. And it's amazing. So guys, keep up the good work, man.
thank you, man.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us. It's our
yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you.
it's our pleasure.
Thank you for having us. So now, guys, if you did not know, he told you when to tune into the show. We're at their location. Okay. So when you tune into that show, you're gonna get the same professionalism that you're getting tonight. I'm so blown. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and be very, very frank right now. I was intimidated. I wanted to give them a better introduction than that, but I was so just like, I'm not doing this properly because they built a platform, man, that's to be admired.
Guys,
Thank you.
not too many people will graciously welcome you into their home, and we just really appreciate that.
Man, look, it's our pleasure, man. Look, we like surrounding ourselves with superstars too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Trent James in the building.
I claim that.
Birds of the feather.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. No, but seriously, man, thank you guys so much for having us. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
All right. So without all the accolades to the side, man, all the love, man, we want to jump into this thing. We want to ask you guys some questions tonight. And
Okay.
we came up with the random 10 people. So people that's watching tonight, y'all getting 10 random questions,
Just random.
relationship questions that we want to ask Jimmie and Rachel tonight.
Okay.
Not old.
Okay. All right.
Want to
Random
jump
10.
into this thing tonight, man?
The random 10. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Jimmie and Miss Rachel, how do people seeking a real relationship know if they have found the one?
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a great question. I would have to first say you found the one when you all are compatible in the main areas of relationships.
Okay.
You know, this has nothing to do with your feelings.
Okay.
People always we hear the term, man, I fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
You don't fall in love. You make a choice to be in love.
That's right.
It is a
Love is a
people.
choice, right?
Mhm.
And in order for you to get to the decision of love, you should have gone through some proper steps to make sure that you're compatible. And when I say compatible, I'm talking about in those areas that really matter in a relationship. Are you sexually compatible?
Okay.
Are you emotionally compatible?
Okay.
Are you intellectually compatible?
Right.
Are you spiritually compatible? Do you all have the same value systems? Are you financially compatible? Socially, do you have the same concept when it comes to friends and family? What about your professional, your personalities and your communication styles? They don't have to be the same, but they definitely have to be able to mesh.
That's right.
I like that word.
Yeah, they have to be able to mesh, and those things are very, very important. And I think a lot of times, even with what I do, working with premarital, doing premarital counseling, that's the first thing I want to know. I want to find out, how are you all compatible?
Right.
Because those are the areas that stress us in relationships. When we realize, man, we don't like none of the same stuff, because you may have met in a couple of those areas, and normally it's the physical,
Yeah.
or, for some people, they hooked up because, hey, man, you financially stable, and I needed to be financially stable.
That's big time right now.
But you wasn't compatible in those other areas, and so now the relationship is straining.
And if I can add, sometimes you get so caught up in those butterflies and that image of what you think it's supposed to feel like. And what you don't realize is, after some time, especially when you get married and that honeymoon period is over, reality hits you. And the things that really do matter, like what you're saying, your core values, at the end of the day, that's what you both stand on. All those other things that gave you those butterflies, what butterflies?
Right.
You don't even feel them anymore.
That's
Why?
right.
Because reality has hit you in the face.
Right.
So you have to be careful to not go according to just your preferences, because like we talk about, your preferences always change. Doesn't mean you can't get what you want. But at the end of the day, if you had to choose between something you truly believe in, that you would stand for and fight for
and die for,
as opposed to, that temporary satisfaction, of course you're going to go with those values.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people now also they chasing the ring.
Yeah, because everybody's
all right, now Trick. All right.
Listen, it's like to me, it's like a pretty piece of crystal that just needs to shatter when it comes to people thinking that just because you have a ring, you have something. Better to be alone and happy and whole than to be with somebody and be miserable because you were with them for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And when you think about it, you're just really satisfying everyone else. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to be in that relationship. You're the one that has to walk through it day in and day out. So, and I just, since I'm the only woman here, I always try to tell the women, be careful of that. Don't give in to the pressure of whether it's coming from a mama,
your biological clock.
Your biological clock is ticking. And, and I'm very sensitive to that because I do have children. I was blessed to be able to have children. But at the same time, it's not worth the risk of getting into a toxic relationship. And now the very children that you wanted so badly are being affected by a broken relationship from two broken people.
Yep.
You should be whole.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
I mean, just to piggyback, one thing about like me and my wife, I loved that really, I guess, made me want to pursue her was the natural progression. It was just so effortless. It just seemed like all those things that kind of you and Jimmie touched on. It wasn't hard, and I know Trick remember from the very beginning when I came into the barbershop. I ain't gonna tell you how he joked me, but he got me good. But anyway, it was just like a natural, smooth progression, and I was like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm not trying hard. we like the same things. Wow, it was just like, so yeah.
Well, Renard, let me just say this, man. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
And I know you've dated other people, and I'm sure you recognize it now. Like, man,
What?
It wasn't like that before.
Right. I was trying to make this thing work.
Exactly. when you are connected to the right one, because you all, as the Bible say, equally yoked, and as the counseling side says, you are compatible. It makes things a little bit easier.
Yeah,
because the difficult times are still going to come. But when you are foundationally sound and together and on one accord in those core areas, you can get through those hard parts a little easier.
And it's so funny with my husband, especially when we first got married. Sometimes he would get so frustrated because I wouldn't necessarily agree with him on something. And I had to bring to his attention that little things we may disagree on all the time, but the things that really matter, those are the things we agree on. So when you start to focus on that, it makes all the little petty things just kind of brush by the wayside, because what's important is that those foundational core values.
Right.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I hope y'all taking notes.
Oh, I'm taking notes. Listen here.
No, I hope they're taking notes.
I'm the single guy in here. I'll be like, hey guys, where can I find one of those?
I'll take one of those to go.
Question. So, being that I mentioned that I'm the single guy, question for the single people, but not even the single people, married people as well. How often, how frequently should you date?
Okay, so I got to get some clarity on that question.
Okay.
So are you saying you're in a relationship? How often should you all go out together?
I tell you what, I want to make this as general as possible for
Okay.
the people that's watching.
Gotcha.
Okay. Go ahead and show them your expertise. They good. I'm telling y'all, they good.
Well, how often should you date? Honestly, I think as much as your schedule will allow. And the reason that I say that is because in every relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is, if you're trying to fortify a relationship, you have to get to know each other. So the more time you're spending with each other, the more time you're going to get a chance to see the good and the bad, which gives you an opportunity to make an educated decision on should we move forward or should we pump the brakes? You know what I mean? I do believe that, you still want to give each other that space, a little bit of time to recoup from each other. But at the same time, because you know how it is, when you found the one that y'all kind of connected on, you like, man, I can't wait to see her tomorrow.
Right.
Man, I want to talk to her today,
Right.
And so those feelings are there. But at the same time, it shouldn't be just about being in her presence. And it shouldn't be for her just being in your presence. It should be when we're in each other's presence, what are we doing? Are we getting to know each other? Are we doing something superficial?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So as much as you all can, if you all, hey, get to know each other. Ask those tough questions. Don't be asking about what's your favorite color. Don't nobody care about that at the end of the day.
That the last guy asked all the questions that the last guy asked.
But I will say this about dating. I believe that you don't have to put dating in a box. Many times when we think about dating, we think about, okay, we're dressing up, we're going out to eat, we're going to the movies, we're going to see a show, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, when I think about dating, especially now after this is my second marriage, and what I realize is it's really taking out time to spend time with one another with no other distractions. As far as children, you are there for each other. So a date with me and him, especially having children, can be, we decide to play a game of Uno and I whoop up on him. You know what I'm saying? Or a date can be, babe, you want to go take a walk? Why are you looking like that, babe? You know this happened before. Come on now, let's keep it real.
Substance here.
Yeah, relationship, real talk. That's what we do. So, it could be going to take a walk. It doesn't always have to cost money.
Right.
Can you say that one more time?
Ladies, don't get caught up in social media and what people are showing you with their representatives, and it puts that pressure on you. Comparison kills. Jonathan McReynolds. I have to give him his credit. I was thinking Jason Nelson. Jonathan McReynolds, he has a song, Comparison Kills. It does, because you start to feel like there's something you missing out on. FOMO, fear of missing out. Right. You create what you want for your relationship.
Mhm.
So if that dating means, you Skyping each other, he's in one room, you're in another room, or whatever the case may be, take out the time to spend time with one another. Because for those of you who are not married, if you plan on getting married, it's not always going to be easy
Mhm.
Compromise.
to leave the house.
Right.
So you have to be intentional about putting in that time. So when because the kids hopefully are not going to be there forever.
Right.
They're
So
not.
once they leave,
They're going to leave.
there's I don't have the numbers for you, but there's a high incidence of divorce that happens after the kids graduate from high school and they go to college,
Wow.
because the couples are sitting there like, now
Who are you?
Who are you again?
Right.
Now,
When can I break out?
What can we do? Ooh, look, finally the kids are gone. And the kids, believe it or not, although they're adults, they are devastated.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they thought that this facade was real. So when you think about dating, it's really about just taking the time to still be connected and
Right.
spend some time with one another.
We talked about being sexually compatible, right? But one of the other areas along with sexual compatibility is intimacy.
Ooh.
Intimacy is
I'm
not
glad you touched on that.
physical.
Right.
It's not just physical.
It's not just physical. It is connecting on an emotional and a spiritual level as well.
Mhm.
So those things are important. As much as I'm attracted to my wife physically, I am also attracted to her mentally and emotionally. So it doesn't have to be a physical thing for me to be satisfied as a man. For me as a man with her, sometimes it's just holding hands or just talking, where we're actually having a conversation, and it's not about bills. It's not about the kids. It's not about the show. It's not about our business. It's about us. What's going on with you, babe? She wants to know what's going on with me, because sometimes we get so busy until we really don't know what's going on with our significant others. We're just
two ships
passing in the night.
Right.
Fellas,
Right.
that was a gem right there.
Yeah.
You don't hear too many men, willing to admit that. Please take note. Intimacy is just holding hands with your wife, just spending time. It's not all about sex. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people miss that.
Yeah.
I feel like every time we're on the air, I say this, but I think it's necessary to say, whatever you feed grows and whatever you starve dies.
Mhm.
So when you think of your relationship and keeping that connection, it's like a lifeline.
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. Some people can't go a day without their phones. You make sure that thing stays charged. You plug it in, because why? You want to be able to communicate with whomever.
Stay connected.
The same thing with so really, to bring it back around to that question, how
Bring it
often you should date before that connection starts to drop to that low level.
You should be recharging.
You should be recharging.
Mhm.
And that's going to be different from person to from couple to couple.
If you can't get that, I don't know what to
I told
Broke that
y'all,
down.
I told you, get your bill tonight, people. You finna get your meat and potatoes.
Did he say
Not
your
the meat
bib?
and potatoes.
He
I'm trying
said
to
you
tell
get
you.
your bib.
Yeah, straight up and down. Straight up and down.
That's a good one. That's a good one, man. That's funny.
Man, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Have mercy.
Shoot your shot, man. Shoot your shot, as they say.
Does having sex before marriage or even a relationship hurt the relationship?
Oh.
That's a heavy one. He put that as number 3.
Well,
Not the last one, but number 3.
well, guys. For those of you who are watching the show, Rachel and I, we consider ourselves as Christian counselors, right? And everything we teach is from a biblical principle, from
Gotcha.
biblical perspective, right? But our motto is we teach you biblical principles, but so you can use them in practical ways, right?
Mhm.
Now, your spiritual life and your practical life have to be married.
Okay.
I shouldn't be able to tell the difference between you on your day of worship and then you on them other days.
Mhm.
You should look like the same person all the time, right? Now, I'm saying that to say this. I'm 50 years old. I've been around the world literally twice.
Okay.
I can tell you that it does affect you negatively having sex before marriage.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yes, because you start to get ties emotionally
Soul ties.
that you sometimes can't break. And for those of you who are listening, ladies, that first one, was it hard to give him up?
He said, was it hard to give him up?
Yeah, after y'all had sex for the first time,
Mhm.
was it hard to give him up when you realized he wasn't the one? It wasn't easy. That's a connection that made, and even for us as guys, our first one, and heaven forbid if it was good, you really done. You know what I mean? So yes, it does affect you. Secondly, another way that it affects you, what you should be sharing with your spouse, you've already shared, so it's lost its luster, so to speak.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? This is why people have so many sexual deviant behaviors, because they've tried everything.
Wow.
And they're trying to find
something that gave them that first satisfaction when they first started. It's like drugs. They say you'll never get the first high again.
You'll never get it again.
And that's the same thing with our sex. So we do have to be mindful that it does affect. It's more than just recreation. And it does affect you, because once you start to get into a committed relationship, you start, it changes your concept about it, how you want it, and it becomes conflict there. If she's not as experienced as you are, you expect her to do things that
you start comparing her.
Yeah, you start and so
she compare you.
Exactly.
That's right.
Those things, they can be harmful or destructive to a relationship.
And from a woman's perspective, I mean, it can cloud your judgment.
Men too, don't. It's not just
definitely.
It
but I
cloud's
can only speak
Those
from a woman's
ties.
perspective, and let me tell you why. Because we know, and I do not, believe that all men are dogs. I'm not going to give into that. But what we do know is, men tend to be attracted to what they see. Women tend to be attracted to what they hear. That game. That's why sometimes you can see the most beautiful woman, and you look at the guy, and you like.
Take it back to Adam and Eve.
How that happened?
He must have some game
or money.
Yeah, So, but what happens is in the younger years of men, I teach high school. I see it. The guys, they can go from girl to girl to girl, and they chilling. I mean, it's another notch on their belt. They flexing like, yeah, that's me.
That's
how I roll. But what happens is they're satisfied with the next one, but the girl is usually the one sitting there heartbroken. But he did this, but he did that,
and he said this, and he said that.
And many times when they know this behavior is going on, they are still holding on. It clouds their judgment. What I find is the young ladies, the women that I've talked to, if they did not sleep with the guy yet, they're like, deuces, no harm, no foul, because I did not give myself to this person.
No soul ties.
No soul ties. So it makes it a little easier to break away. And of course, the science teacher in me, physiologically, you mesh. Your DNA mixes. So it's very, very difficult.
Thank you for saying
those spirits.
Because I had to tell somebody that the other day.
Yes,
I was like, your DNA mix. It was like, I don't believe that.
Yes.
Well, all you have to do is read.
Do your research.
Every cell in your body is made of, it has DNA in it.
Yeah.
But everything is mixing. And I think we take it for granted. We're not sitting here saying that it's not easy, that it's not going to be difficult, because especially once you've done it, you're going to want to do it again.
Right.
But that carnal nature, that physical nature will get you into some trouble. And even though when you might know cognitively, this may not be a good idea, if you continue to feed that flesh, you can easily fall into that situation. So that clouding of your judgment and decision making, that can be really serious when you're talking about getting into a sexual relationship.
And not even scientifically, but even spiritually.
Yes.
It's crazy how you can lay down and wake up a whole nother person.
That's right.
You can wake up a whole nother way.
Listen, you are so right.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna be no hypocrite over here tonight. They might put some holy water on me if I leave here tonight. I said it. I'm gonna tell the truth.
He went ahead and put it out there, but I always like to say, as Christians, we serve a practical God.
Exactly.
And there are things in place because He knows. I mean, when you do get kind of caught up in that, there's so many other things we haven't even mentioned that you now have to contend with. Maybe having a child that you didn't expect to have sooner. Maybe getting an STD that you can't get rid of. Maybe like there's so many different things that come with it.
Or you didn't mess around and because she had that big booty and a smile. Now she crazy as all get out. And now you can't get rid of her.
She's slashing tires, and burning clothes.
And now you got this dude that's stalking you,
I may have been guilty of that once.
But that's what I'm saying.
Appreciate the transparency.
So
you on blast.
So all of us, male and female, have to be very, very mindful when it comes to these type of unhealthy connections. So the premarital sex, yes, it does hurt. It does hurt. I mean, you know,
Feels good.
yeah,
but
it does.
hurts.
I mean, and yeah, it feels good, but
We're
it
being
hurts
honest.
you. It hurts you in the long
Long
run
run.
because it affects you in a manner that you know you don't want it to affect you when you finally find someone that you are in love with or you want to share your life with. It affects
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Great. All
I
right.
believe it. I'm a little hard
Yeah.
headed, but I believe it.
All right. All right. Thank you for that. So we're gonna go to our next question here. Can you have friends of the opposite sex? And what we mean by that is new friends.
Right.
Come into-
Okay. Look, can I start off?
Go
with that
ahead.
one?
Go ahead.
You know, I do believe you can, but however, I think there has to be boundaries. The boundaries have to be clear,
Mhm.
and you have to be transparent with your partner.
Okay.
I don't think it should be a secret.
Mhm.
First of all, I wouldn't want it to be a secret because I'm just the type of person I mess around and tell on myself if I was trying to keep a secret.
Mhm.
But I think the contention comes in when that new friend, does not understand the clear boundaries that need to be set and might be calling you all the time or
Mm.
expecting to go out with you and not respecting the fact that you are with somebody else and that person is a priority in your life,
Mhm.
or trying to speak against your significant other. There's so many things you have to be careful of to who you put in your circle.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Tell
As
your
it relates
business
to-
too.
Yeah, and tell your business too. But I mean, I have friends at work that are male friends as well as female friends. And anytime I'm in the presence of one of those friends and my husband's there, I immediately introduce him to them. Immediately, because it should never be a thing of where I don't want to introduce this one to him because there's something else going on.
Mhm.
I don't want to ever, and he's not an insecure person when it comes to that. That's not something that we really have to deal with. But I would never want to put him in the situation where he might feel a type of way like there's somebody I can't introduce him to.
Or even the person feel like there may be a slight piece of division in your situation.
Right.
And if they have any type of agenda,
Mhm.
they may be able to slither.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
you know, the caveat to this question is, by default, yes, I think you know we should be able to have friends of the opposite sex. However, you have to be honest with yourself first.
Mhm.
Are there any attraction feelings going on between you and this individual?
Very true.
Right.
Okay, let's just say, is there any attraction on your
Mm.
part? If the answer is truthfully no, okay, you good. But then you have to consider the other one. Is that one attracted to me?
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
and
a
if
very good
and if
point.
that person is attracted to you, that's not your friend. That's a person in waiting.
Oh,
Right.
and
There it is. Come on, Jim.
you know what?
Did I tell you they're gonna start preaching after a while?
Isn't that
I
the
told
wait? What's the
you.
pastor call it? The lint catcher?
Yeah,
Can
the
I
lint-
get that lint off for you?
Yeah, yeah.
The wife is like, no, I got it. I got it.
That's
man.
a person in wait, you know, and so they're just waiting on you to talk about how bad your relationship is. They're just waiting, and they gonna always be there to console you. And
Mhm.
before you know it, you all have an emotional connection that's unhealthy for a person that's engaged in a relationship.
Or in a relationship.
Yeah.
You
so
and I have go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that was it.
You and I have talked about this
Mhm.
before, where when you're in a relationship, and sometimes there might be a woman who I felt like I said, I'm not the jealous type, but if it was a woman that approached him a certain way or was talking to him a certain way, I'd be like, she feeling you.
Mm.
Mhm.
And you know, he's gotten to the point where like he never denies it. He never says,
Mhm.
girl, you don't know what you're talking about. Because women, we just have a way of kind of knowing.
We
Don't
do
get-
too.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
There are some women who are insecure.
Right.
There it is.
And it could and let me just say this when I use that word insecure, some of that insecurity is not just necessarily just all in her mind, like she's just an insecure woman and she needs to get it together. It could have been that she had an experience or her experience with that partner is one where he has done something.
A wound there.
There's a wound
flirting,
there that has not been healed.
because that's not
And,
healthy.
yeah, that has made her insecure.
No, sir. Not when you're in a relationship.
Not when you're in a relationship.
Well,
Flirt is not healthy.
If you're in a relationship
Listen.
and you're flirting, that's dangerous.
Here's what I say.
Oh, man.
Here's what I
I'm a
say.
flirt king
If
too,
you
man.
want to flirt, then just date and be honest. Like get to when I say date, you shouldn't be seriously dating like we're exclusive.
Right.
Yo, don't be
Right.
exclusive if you're gonna flirt.
Here's what I normally
Don't go
ask
too
people.
far, but I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, here's what I normally ask people. I'll say, okay, if you are the type person, you know, you have that level of charisma, and it can quickly turn to flirting, even though you don't plan on taking it nowhere.
Mhm.
You always have to think there are two people involved in flirting. It's what you think and what they're receiving.
I got you.
And if you're not mature
point,
enough to
baby.
be that responsible, you don't need to do it. You see what I'm saying?
True.
And here's the question I always ask: would you be okay if your girl did that?
Ooh, nope.
But I've
'Cause
dated
I'm-
women. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my esteem, man. I've dated women that they're flirtatious,
Right.
and it moving in the room with networking, business networking, social events or whatnot. It kind of works.
It worked
Well,
to her
but
benefit.
check this out though. I call that relationship Russian roulette.
Okay.
Cause see, here's what I found to happen when you play that game.
Mhm.
You gonna get another flirter who gonna flirt back and might flirt the right way.
Mhm.
And now your mind get to
He bites on the bait.
or she bites.
Right.
No, she was the flirty one, or you were the flirty one. Then the one you flirting with said something back to you that go, ooh, you kind of like, oh, okay, then. Now you have to battle flesh.
Mhm.
Man, do I want to keep listening to this and let my mind get to wondering? So I say stay away from flirting. It's not healthy. It is the genesis to something bad. Trust me.
And you can be very effective. We've been to networking events, and you can be very effective at making connections with people
Mhm.
without having to flirt.
Right.
But my whole thing is always, what's the motive when you are flirting and trying to be attractive, and what are you trying to work in?
Mhm.
Because if you're in a relationship, then really you really don't want it to go any further if you're serious.
And
about
why
the
do you want to
relationship.
manipulate it from that perspective anyway? So if I'm networking for business, why I got to flirt to do that?
True.
Because is it business that they're actually looking for, or is it something else?
Like, oh, you really got my attention.
Yeah,
So we can
yeah.
do something else.
Yeah, it's gonna be business
So then
and pleasure.
So then I guess once, if you take it to a certain level, it could be one of those situations where, okay, you've done this and I give you this.
Right.
There you go. You open the door.
Yeah. Then those negotiations start happening. Yeah. I'll give you this
I've
contract.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you've been witnessed by a reformed
Flirter.
flirter.
Well, here's the thing. I think people who don't, who are not in a relationship, I think there's flirting that can be just kind of healthy, where they know you're interested.
Yeah.
And, so it's not like flirting completely throwing it out the window. It's just, what's the purpose of it if you are in a
Flirting when you're
exclusive
single is
relationship?
good.
Okay.
That's the attractant.
Okay.
Flirting when you're in a relationship is bad.
It's bad.
You've already accomplished your goal. You
Y'all
have
heard that.
you have your
Y'all
girl
heard
or
that.
your guy.
Well, in my defense, let me say this: when I even when I'm
Well, we weren't
speaking
talking about you.
I know, but even since I brought it up, said I was a flirter.
Since he was confessing.
But even situations such as, it could be, I'm a young black man.
Mhm.
It could be a elder white woman.
Mhm.
Give her a compliment. It could be a young lady that plus size woman. Nothing wrong with a plus size woman, but sometimes when people deal with certain things or look a certain way, you may put out there.
Society don't just compliment them like that.
Yeah, society doesn't just compliment. I want to give you a compliment. I want you to feel.
But I
some
don't
type
see
of
that
way
as a
today.
flirt.
Right.
I think that's complimenting because I'm that way.
Okay.
If I'm at work and I see a person who has got their hair done, I'll go, I see you, girl, got that wig fixed,
Right,
And do it with males also.
Right.
I
Yeah.
see you, brother. I
Yeah.
like that blazer.
Yeah.
That's
You know, that's not flirting. To me, that is you paying homage to something nice you see about, and plus you already know it's going to make them feel good.
Right.
Nobody solely beautifies themselves for themselves. You want to be noticed.
Ooh, say that.
And if you think I'm lying, let your wife walk in the house with a new outfit on and you don't say nothing.
Okay.
She gonna be like, excuse me,
I
did
don't
you?
know, baby. I don't completely agree with that, only because I do think a lot of people do dress for other people. But I promise you, if nobody was looking at me, I'm still gonna make sure when I leave the house.
That's easy for you to
My
say because
stuff
I'm
is
always
right.
telling you, girl, you is.
But baby, I
tight.
appreciate that. But honestly, that kind of goes into, being satisfied with who you are and the way
Right.
you look and doing things. But I see where you're coming from. But I think what you're saying, Trick, it really goes back to motive once again. Some
Right.
people do compliment
Gotcha.
with the intention of, okay, I'm reeling it in. And other people, it's just like, it really is just a legitimate compliment.
Right. You look nice today.
Yeah.
Like that dress, like, hey man, I see that cut, boy. They baited you up tight,
Oh, I get that all the time with Trick.
you can-
Who cut your hair, man?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, those things, that's not flirting. Flirting is, what's up, girl?
Man, oh man,
I see you. Calves looking good, girl.
I got you.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Sure got
level.
a lot of junk in your trunk.
Right.
I got
That
you.
must be jelly, because jam don't shake like that.
Girl, you thicker than cold peanut
How
butter.
about this?
Ooh.
I got the
Lord
next
have
question for you to roll right off. that.
Okay.
Talking about looking at somebody's calves
Mhm.
and getting to the point that you're flirting. Say you're not flirting. Say you're just looking. So the question is looking and only looking healthy or unhealthy for a relationship?
Okay, that goes back to motive again.
It goes back to motive
It-
intent.
I mean,
looking at the
listen,
calves, though.
listen. I am a leg and butt man. I don't care who got legs and butt. If I see it, I see it. But I'm not sitting there going, God, oh man, and I'm not wondering what I could do with that. But I mean,
Right.
you have eyes. How can you not see it? But what I'm not going to do is do no double and triple take.
Okay.
I think the difference too is seeing it and looking for it.
Right. Because you're gonna see it.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm not hunting for
it.
Going
Yeah.
to it.
And looking for it, because
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one thing about beautiful people and beautiful Black people. We come in so many different hues and shapes and sizes. There's something about when a beautiful person walks into a room. It's
you
almost
gonna
like
see it.
everybody really knows it.
Right.
It's like, oh,
Everybody.
yeah, you're just kind of like, but like you said, especially for men, and the reason why I say especially for men, because you are so visually attracted, that second and third look might get you in trouble.
Mhm.
Because that person might be giving you that look too.
Yeah, that second and third look, you thinking about what you can do with it.
There
how
you
you
bend
go.
them
Then
over.
those lustful thoughts.
Whoa.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Yeah. I've learned to do what women do. Women are genius.
They are.
When they see a man that's handsome, they don't want to get caught just staring at him. So they'll be like, baby, look at his shoes, and make you look at him too. You be like,
Right. Oh, yeah.
so
And they can get that look and keep on going.
keep on going.
Yeah,
You
and
heard-
They don't
you heard
have
that,
those.
fellas?
They don't
So-
have those.
So now
extra
you know
thoughts.
you ain't slick, girl. ain't slick.
and it depends on how secure you are in a relationship. Because if like we were in church and a guy had a nice suit, I'd be like, babe, that is a nice suit. And he wouldn't be sitting there thinking, why are you looking at his suit?
Right.
Because I have not given him a reason.
Right. You're like, how you trying to get that suit on him?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Exactly,
you would
exactly.
look good in that
I
suit.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's what it's supposed to be. It is nothing wrong admiring the beauty of someone else. The deal always goes back to intent, motive. Why are you doing it?
Where are you taking
Are
it?
you feeling something you shouldn't be feeling? Are you thinking something you shouldn't be thinking? If you're in a relationship, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta convict yourself. There.
Yes, that's what we need to be questioning. So no, it's not a problem looking.
If I could be honest, I honestly love dating a young lady that says, I don't mind you looking. I might look at her too. If I'm being honest, I ain't gonna lie. I think her butt just as big and nice as you think.
Because who can't see it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are guys who as a man I can say, oh boy, look, you straight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what
That's what I'm saying. You know what good looking
unattractive is. So how
Exactly.
we gonna pretend we don't know what attractive is?
And I know what my wife like,
Exactly.
so I'll call it in a minute. But
Yeah.
Exactly.
She was
yeah.
like, well, you know, I mean,
Exactly. You and just like your wife know what you like.
yeah.
So before you
Exactly.
see it, she probably saw it. And then she looking at you like this. I bet you gonna look. I bet you gonna look.
Exactly.
There you go.
And I think, to be honest with you, when we talking about is looking healthy or not, those are the type of situations I think about. And when you have intimacy with your significant other, and it turns into something else. It turns into a communication line, a connection. I know what he likes.
Right.
I know what she likes.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
personally being a man, I'm not gonna say, baby, hey, that, but better I ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I'm sorry, it is one of those catch-22 things. You know,
This
what I'm saying?
joker right here say something like this, baby. My butt that big. I'll be like, nah, baby, it ain't
No, you
that
didn't
big.
just put me on front.
But you know you've done that before.
But that's how secure I am. Like
Yeah.
I could draw his attention to someone's butt and not think anything about it. So it really goes deeper than just because when we're together, I'm not sitting there like, oh, I'm not gonna look. oh my, I'm not even thinking about that.
Right.
You know, it's about where's your mind, where's your heart.
Mhm.
And if my heart is with him,
Confidence
say
and
that
connection.
one more time.
yeah, if my heart
Confidence
is
and
with
connection.
him, like I refuse to be in a relationship where I feel like, oh my goodness, I can't do anything without this person thinking I'm wanting somebody else.
Right.
If he was to feel that way, I'm gonna have to first ask myself, wait a minute, what am I doing to make him feel that way?
Mhm.
Am I doing something? And then if I'm not doing something, I'm gonna say, what is he doing to be so ready to accuse me? Because
Right.
I've learned that too.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you're in a relationship and somebody's so quick to accuse you of cheating, and there was never anything that predicated that, it's usually because that joker is cheating. The joker
There
could
it
be
is.
female or male.
There
That's
it
what I'm
is.
saying. That's relationship real talk for you right there.
Can we ask another question inside that question?
Go on and
Shoot,
ask a question
shoot.
inside that question.
So based upon what you just said,
They preach, sister.
is that so? Is there people that they have motives, or they're just people that just insecure when they think people are cheating?
It's both. It can be both. You know, and the only, and we know, or it's not too hard to determine which one it is, because you know the condition of your relationship. You know the history of your relationship. You know, if you've had infidelity issues, you know he's probably just now he worried or she worried,
Stem from that.
right? Like, crap, I didn't get her go get free card. You know, and now you concerned. You know, but then there are cases where people have been hurt before, and so when they see you doing something that resembles what the person did that hurt them, that's like a fresh wound.
Trigger, yeah.
It's a trigger,
You didn't create the wound, but you hit it.
right.
You
And
hit it.
and you didn't
on
even
that
know,
nerve,
and
right.
you didn't even know that wound existed until they go, ouch. You know, and now you have to say, okay, that's a sensitive spot. And now you get into a dialogue so the connection can be better. Because here's a part of connecting, understanding what drives a person. Why are you the way you are? And once I know that you've been hurt in a certain area, I'm now going to consciously and intentionally make sure that I don't violate those same areas. You see what I'm saying?
That's the word right there.
Yeah.
And when you're in a relationship, you really have to be willing to deal with the elephant in the room. I think we're too good at that. You know, shoot. I mean, if we have something to say to each other, we want to address something, we're not sitting holding it back, harboring it. That's not us. We're not saying things don't come back up, but yet when we see it, we address it, even if it might hurt. I mean, we might have to come back full circle around to the conversation, especially if it's a sensitive situation. But ignoring it and not addressing it does not make it go away.
It sure doesn't.
And sometimes, and let me just tell you guys who are listening, you have to be that responsible adult when you realize that that thing in your relationship that's hurting your relationship is because of something within you that you have to work out. You have to be willing to do the work.
That's it.
And if that means go and get help, like we talk about counseling with couples, many times you have to do your individual counseling that maybe you did not do before in order to bring a healthy situation to your relationship. Because guess what? If it has nothing to do with him, there is nothing he's going to be able to do to make that better, and vice versa. So you got to put on your big girl drawers, your big boy pants, and say, you know what? If I'm being honest with myself, there's some things I got to work out within me. That's why I don't believe in you complete me.
Right.
I don't believe in it. You do not complete me. We complement each other. But I want to come in 100. I want him to come in 100.
So now we two whole people.
That's 200% last time I checked. That's a surplus.
Right.
Because if you come in 50%, suppose one day he decides, I don't want to give you the other 50. Now you've relinquished your control. Now you're allowing somebody else who at that moment may not have good intentions for you to start pushing your buttons. And now, oh, my life is over. I'm depressed. I'm this and that. Why? Because you surrendered your wholeness to someone else.
Yeah. One of the things that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because in working with individuals or couples, I can always tell who came into the relationship not complete because their expectations for the other one is too great. That person is not God. They cannot do that. That's your job. You have to do that stuff for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? I can only compliment what she has. I can't give her what she does not have.
True.
He can't build a house. We can
you
add
know,
some curtains.
Yeah,
You know,
I cannot give my wife what she doesn't have. The only
Yes.
thing that God has given me the ability to do is to love her in spite of her deficiencies,
Okay.
is to be patient with her and have and still maintain a desire for her, right?
Mhm.
So no matter what she's going through, she knows he's there.
So if God send them, it's safe to say they're gonna need some work.
Man, listen, if you breathing, you're gonna need some
We
work.
all need some work.
Yes.
But what you just said, honey, and I'm looking at somebody's comment, they said, what if the person saw it growing up? That's exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have these expectations that are unrealistic,
Mhm.
and they lead to what we do training. And one of our trainings is insanities,
Mhm.
doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results based on these unrealistic expectations. Are those expectations based on principles and
Mhm.
core values? Are they based on just a preference because your daddy did it
Mhm.
Wow.
Or your mama did.
or your mama did it?
Well, my mama used to cook all the time.
Or my
Well,
mama
I ain't-
swept the porch every morning, so you expect her to sweep the porch every morning.
Oh,
Or those things that are really surface that don't shake the core of your relationship.
Mm.
We got to check that stuff
Yeah.
because you start to put that on the same list as fidelity,
Mhm.
infidelity.
Right.
No,
It's not the
don't.
same.
They're not the same thing.
But more
So,
importantly,
mhm.
why am I trying to make you my mama?
Baby, you said that.
You left the house a long time ago, bro.
You
Right.
said that.
The Bible
You
says
gotta leave,
leave
and,
and cleave. I'm
Right.
leaving my mother and my father, and I'm cleaving to my wife
That's
because
right.
she has her own attributes. Now,
right.
don't get it
Amen.
twisted.
That's right.
And I'm not saying this for those of you who are watching. Most men are attracted to women who have some attributes that their mother had.
Yeah.
Vice versa. Most women are attracted to guys that had some of the attributes that their father had,
Good
right?
or bad.
The mainly the good ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones we think we're most attracted to, right?
Okay.
We're not saying that. What we're saying is you still recognize that they're not your mom and they're not your dad. So they come to the table with their own attributes. They come to the table with their own deficiencies. So you have to know what those are, and you should have found those out when you were searching those compatibility areas.
Got to talk about it.
You have to be. That's why these superficial conversations that you're having, what's your favorite car? What kind of car you like? That ain't important. What you want to know is, do y'all have mental issue in y'all family?
Does it run in the family?
Does it? What's your credit score?
Wow.
Oh,
Can we buy a house together,
come on, man.
or is it gonna be
Okay.
just on me? What is your spending habits? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that's gonna strain a marriage for real. Or do you believe in monogamy? Or do you believe in just being with one man or one woman?
Or you want to throw?
You want to have a
And
girlfriend,
right.
side piece.
Making it
Right.
a real conversation.
Yes, these are the things that put the stress on the marriage, not those superficial things that's unrealistic. Rachel can cook, right? My mother could cook, so that's a plus. Like, ooh, Lord, ooh, she can cook, she can throw down. So yes, I'm happy, but I would have never said to her, when my mom cooked chicken, she ain't do it that way.
Yeah.
And you know why he wouldn't have said that? Because this one right here, I would have had something that wouldn't be too nice. And I love my mother-in-law. But let me just tell you this. We kind of slid past it. But you are attracted. When I say you're attracted to good and bad, consciously, you're looking for the good.
Mhm.
But
Self-consciously.
subconsciously,
Yep.
you will attract yourself to the very thing. Like I hear women like, I married my father. And in my first marriage, I married my father. The thing that I thought I was running away from, there was something within me that actually attracted that very thing that I did not want.
Wow.
So that's why it's so important to peel back those layers, ladies, gentlemen.
There's a word for that too.
I'm telling you, it will
syndrome.
come back. It's kind of like trying to push it. If you've ever been in a pool and you had an inflatable toy or something, and you try to push it underneath, it's always going to pop back up.
All right, back up.
Good analogy.
And while you're holding it down, you're straining.
Mhm.
You're not
analogy.
comfortable. You're not relaxed. But the minute you try to relax, that thing comes right back to the surface.
Oh, man.
So your healing comes, your breakthrough comes after you go through that pain. And
Right.
many times people never have the breakthrough because the minute it starts to hurt, they avoid it. They take a detour.
Mhm.
Wow.
And feel it was something else.
Yeah.
They fill it with something else and project it onto another relationship.
Yeah.
Wow.
What Erica Badu, the bag lady?
Bag
Because
ladies.
that's all we're doing.
Bag lady.
We're transferring issue issues to other relationships.
From person
Like,
to person.
you
to
do
person.
know that I'm not the dude that hurt you, right?
Mhm.
So why are you talking to me like my name is Richard?
Mhm.
Richard was the one that hurt you, not Jimmy, you know? And we have to make sure that we can identify when we're doing that, when those are our behaviors, you know, when those are our patterns of behavior, we have to say, ooh, and don't, black people,
Uh-oh. Not the black. What about the brown people?
black people,
Brown, red, yellow.
please stop believing that counseling is not for you.
Oh, say
Um,
it again.
I was reading a post. Somebody posted today, does counseling really work? Counseling is only effective when you apply the tools. If you're not going to change, counseling is useless. It is no better than you getting some advice from a friend. If a friend gave you some good advice and you chose to ignore it, you would say the advice wasn't good, but no, that's not the truth. You just didn't follow the advice. So we have to realize that when we're damaged, we have to get healed to move forward. You know, and so we got to get away from this concept that counseling is not good. Counseling is only as good as you're willing to use it.
Amen.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that whole concept has come, especially with black people, comes from lack of trust of the other people who make us think we need counseling.
Mhm.
You know, it comes from like, well, you don't need that. Your mama didn't have it. I didn't have it. Your grandma didn't have it.
I
And we
hate
turn out just fine.
And
Well,
the favorite black term,
Yeah.
just pray about it.
just pray about it. But what you don't realize is you've passed on these generational curses. And the other thing is black people we hurt with is all the secrets.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Wow.
family business is family business. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you got to parade through the streets with a sign that reveals all your business. But at the same time, those secrets, once again, always end up coming back to the surface.
Mhm.
And I believe that God has put trained people here on this earth to help us
To help you.
day in, day out, practically. Even though we do what we do, we have a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you something. Rachel, you said a key word that's going to go into this next question.
All right.
The word that you used was secret.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So the next question that we were going to ask tonight is,
okay.
should couples have privacy and boundaries?
Yes, privacy and boundaries, of course.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Secrets, no.
Okay.
Okay. Why do you keep a secret?
You don't want somebody to know.
Why don't you want anybody to know?
Because it could be hurtful.
And not only that, it could be hurtful, but more than anything else, you are ashamed of it.
Mm.
And here's the deal with the secret. If the secret can negatively affect the relationship, that's something you need to share and be mature enough to handle whatever the consequence is going to be.
Wow.
And let me piggyback on something he's saying. And I know we've talked about this before on one of our shows. If the secret is, let's say a friend of mine tells me a secret that has nothing to do with him or our relationship, I'm not sharing it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Why? Because I still have a relationship with that person.
Mhm.
And I want to honor that.
Right.
He
Mhm.
comes first. However, just like he said, if that secret is not going to get in between us or our relationship or shake the core of our foundation, he does not need to know that, because I'm dishonoring my friendship and the secret. I don't go back, and when he's talking with his friends and I see he's in the closet and he's talking, I'm not thinking he's talking to a woman.
Mm.
I just kind of leave him be. Why am I going to try to snoop and overhear him? I trust him.
Mhm.
And when he gets off that phone, if he has something to tell me, he will tell me. And he does the same thing for me. And I really do appreciate it.
Mhm. Yeah, there's
Wow.
something else too. After I finish a counseling session, I don't go back and tell her everything we talked about. I don't tell her anything, because that conversation was between me, the client, and God.
Unless we did the counseling
Together.
together.
Now, if we did it together, that's something totally different. But if she wasn't in the counseling session, I don't go to, you know what, girl, I talked to so-and-so. Yeah, what they talking about?
That's all right.
I don't do that.
All the
That's
pillow,
all right.
That's
all
a
the-
code of ethics.
Because there's a
pillow
code,
talk.
there's a code of
Boy, you get
ethics.
right out of my mouth.
You see what I'm saying? There's a code of ethics that I have and that she has, and it's the same thing with her friends. If her friends tell her something that is private, their business, her friend's business, it is not my right to know that information. You know what I'm saying?
Renard just said something. Renard, tell
What's
the
that?
people. Tell the people what they got to stop doing.
That pillow talk.
Pillow talking.
Quit pillow talking, fellas. Y'all cut it. Well, ladies, cut it out.
Ooh, if
Quit
you-
it.
If y'all,
Wait, what do y'all mean by pillow
so
talk?
if you in the room and you and your husband plan on doing what y'all gonna do that. When it's time to go to bed, go to bed. Now, if y'all want to talk about something between y'all talk about it.
So are y'all saying they shouldn't be talking about the stuff that goes on?
Yeah, you know,
Basically, what you just said. Literally, what you just
Okay.
said. Pillow talking is a term for
Yeah.
you because it doesn't have to happen in the bed. It's
But
just
that's the best
talking to
time.
you.
I know
pretty
what
much.
it
most
is.
defenses are down.
I want to make
defenses are
sure,
down.
yeah,
That
we're all
is.
on the same page as
Yeah.
far as pillow talk.
Everybody's vulnerable at this point in
Yeah.
time, and
Oh.
this is the time that you really feel connected to your significant
So
other.
you start to get free with your mouth and start to tell
Oh,
stuff.
No,
Man.
or that's when you think you can ask those questions you shouldn't be asking. So what was you and Steve talking about?
Right,
Exactly.
just like that.
None you.
Mhm.
None your damn business.
He said it. Dietrich
Uh-huh.
said it.
I said it.
No.
And we say a couple words on our show.
Yeah.
I will say it, none of your damn
We
business.
said it. We second that.
But yeah, but that's so secrets. Yes, you can have secrets, but not secrets that would affect your relationship.
That's right.
You know, you have secrets that has nothing to do with your relationship. Yes, those are yours. Those things are secrets. But if you keeping some information that would directly affect, for instance, and I'm just gonna keep it real. There are people who are getting sexually involved with people and they have STDs that they have not divulged prior to getting sexually involved with people.
Straight like that.
There are people who know you just got somebody pregnant,
Right.
or you know you pregnant, but you ain't telling them that you pregnant.
Baby coming.
Y'all going on and do what you do, and you will let him think it's his. Those are the type of things that will destroy a relationship, because now I'm like, okay, let's do the math. 1, 2, we've been together for 6 months. Why are you 8 months pregnant?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it
That's
doesn't
all.
just destroy a relationship. It destroys even with the child. You know,
Mhm.
if you continue with that lie,
That part.
they find out later on that I have seen so many
Yes.
families
That ain't my
fall
daddy
apart
for real.
because he's 18 and he just now finding out
That
that
ain't-
wasn't his daddy.
Right.
And
That's
and
real.
sometimes the man wants to tell, but the woman wants to keep it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mhm.
only time,
Shame.
right, 'cause
Yes.
there's so much
Again, that's
shame.
why we keep
We
secrets.
cannot, guys. We have to be more transparent in this world. All this and social media does, and we can use social media for good, but I think the part of social media that I hate is it encourages facades.
Mhm.
It encourages people to not be real about things and about
And
themselves.
honesty.
And yeah, there's not enough honesty because everybody wants to look like everything's okay.
And let me say this to that too, babe. Just because it's a social norm doesn't mean that it's right.
Mm.
I'm gonna say that one more time.
Please say it again.
Just because it's a social norm doesn't mean it's right. If it is violating a biblical principle,
Wow.
I would encourage you to stay away from it, because those behaviors are going to breed consequences. And I often tell people that we're all farmers and we're planting seeds. Now, if you want a good harvest, you better plant a good seed.
Mm.
Don't be planting, don't be planting ragweed and wanting apples. Because ragweed is coming. You're gonna get problems. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're giving out the right energy, because what goes around honestly does come back around.
What you sow, you
And
reap.
what you sow, you will reap. It's like a boomerang. You're gonna throw that thing out there, but it's gonna hit you right upside your head. It's coming back at some point, and we have to be careful how we're doing things. So if you have a secret, again, that has nothing to do with the fabric of your relationship, that's your secret. But if it's something that is going to impact the person that you're with or your relationship, you should tell them, and you should be okay with whatever they choose after that.
Right, because there might be a fallout.
Yeah, it's going to be a fallout.
And what will happen is, like we equated it to like a foundation of the house. If there's a crack in it, or if there's a part of it that's messed up, you need some renovation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means you might have to start from the ground up, or on that part of the home, start the renovation so it can at least build up, and now you have a firm foundation.
Right.
As opposed to you just moving on with life, but yet at any given time,
That foundation still broke over there.
and
How-
the crack
Whole
is
roof-
spreading.
Whole
Right.
roof cave in.
Right.
There you go.
So we have to be mindful of that.
There you go.
So we're talking about building a house. We want to get to this next question, although
All right. So, women making more money than a man. How does it weigh on a relationship in today's society, and why?
You want to hit that one first?
I mean, I can. I guess this is directed
About
towards
a
the
woman.
woman. I think you got to look at two things.
Okay.
From the man perspective and the woman's perspective. If the man already has some insecurity about that, it's a very delicate situation, because his insecurities may manifest itself in him trying to overcompensate. And it could be aggression, it could be what have you. With the woman, and I cannot stand a woman who makes a man feel bad about, especially a hardworking man who's doing the very best he can with what he has.
All right.
Rubbing them little coins together. Don't throw it in his face
that you make
that you're making more money than him. Because number one, if you're in a relationship, you already know that. You got into the relationship, unless people were lying, but let's assume everybody was truthful. You went into the relationship knowing that this person makes less than you. So why would that be the card that you have to continue to pull out?
Right.
You think that's going to emasculate him, or is that going to build him up? All that's going to do is tear him down. And many times when women pull that card, it's usually in retaliation, like, I'm going to say this because I want to hurt him because he just hurt me. But personally, when if both individuals are comfortable, let's say although he makes less, he's in a job that's his passion, that's his purpose, that's what he was meant to do. You support him in that, because at the end of the day, the two become one.
Right.
You are a unit. Why are you splitting hairs?
Wow.
Why are you worrying about, last I checked, his stuff was yours and your stuff was his. And if you're not comfortable with that, then maybe you should have just stayed dating and not been married.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or dating someone else and let that person have their way.
There you go. But good luck with getting all the other stuff that really means a lot.
Right.
That boy.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Sister.
The stuff that he treats you right. He has a
He's faithful.
He's faithful. He has a sense of self-respect, and he respects you. I mean, what have we come to in society when these surface things are more important than the deeper things?
Let me. I'm gonna be transparent. When I got out of the military, I moved to Dallas, Texas, and I met a lady who was a real estate mogul.
Okay.
I mean, she lived in Valley Ranch. I was super intimidated. And let me explain why. Because I'm an alpha male. This is why I was intimidated.
She said yes.
When I realized I can't afford to give her anything she currently has.
Wow.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if no matter what I could conceive in my head to do, she was capable of doing it 5 times over.
Wow.
And I psyched myself out of a relationship because I was insecure. I mean,
financial things.
Yeah, financial things. She verbalized, Jimmy, I don't care about that. She told me that. That didn't set well with my spirit, though. I was like, man, I was immature. Now at 50, please make more money than me. So I don't have to work super, super hard. You know what I mean? I'm more mature now. I understand now that we are a team. And if I had understood that then, who knows where life could have taken us. But we do as men sometimes feel a little bit inferior. She never threw it in my face, and for my good friends who may be listening to this, they remember this, especially my godbrothers, Brian and Jack. She liked cars and I like cars. So she said to me, if you could pick a car, what car would you want? Now, there were 2 cars that I loved at that time, the Lamborghini and the Mercedes 500 SL. I wanted a convertible. She was like, oh, okay, great. Why did we go to the Mercedes-Benz place? Everybody knew her. And she said, yo, why don't you go and test drive that car? They was like, oh, this is yours. And I was like, oh, no, it's not. I couldn't take the gift because in my heart, I knew this relationship wasn't going to go too much further because I was trying to figure out how I was going to weasel out of it.
And were you also thinking, be honest, were you thinking in the back of your mind, I don't want her to hold this over my head?
You know what? I never thought that. And here's why, because she never made me feel that way.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I just knew that in my heart, I couldn't do it. And I knew I wasn't happy, and I knew it wasn't going anywhere.
Well,
So I was like,
that part though.
and so I couldn't use
That
her
part.
That part.
and take the car. Because
Right.
that's what it would have been.
That's what it would have been. I got you.
Yeah. So I was like,
I
nah,
totally understand
this is
that
not
part.
going
That
anywhere.
takes some
So let me
integrity.
not take this, especially this kind of gift. You know, that's
Right.
not a watch. You know what I'm saying? That's not a suit. That's a
Right.
$50,000, $60,000, $70,000 car. Like, no, I can't do that.
But if the
Mm.
tables were turned and you were buying something for
Mhm.
her, would you have expected her to accept it?
Yes, of course.
Old school.
But it should
Yeah.
be the,
Old school
but it
values.
should be the
Double
same though.
standard.
But it should be the same.
It
because
should
it's a
have been.
principle.
Listen, guys, I'm not arguing. Y'all can beat me down. I done told you I was insecure. I meant
And I
it.
guess for me,
I was like,
That's-
whoa, I
my
can't
mother
handle
was
this.
always don't take any gifts from men because they expect something in return. So it would really depend on where we are in our relationship. Like, are we engaged? Are we about to be married? Like, are we just dating? Like, it would really depend on the deepness of our relationship at that point.
And we had that
Good
time.
point.
We had
Yeah.
that time in. But
it
I
still
was,
was too much.
yes, I was struggling. I was already struggling with
Then she had to go
look,
ahead and
look, okay, let me explain, guys. I had just built my first house.
Okay.
3,500 square feet, 2-bedroom house. I thought I had a house.
Come on, man.
And
watch
then
out now.
then I went to her house. I was like,
That happened to me.
Wow.
That happened to me.
like, you got a 3-car garage, right? And they all full size, like, and you have 3 big old cars in it. I mean,
Right.
I was just in. It was like, dude, I can't.
What,
You
can
know-
I, what can I do for her?
Right,
Man.
and that's literally what I
Try-
felt.
That,
Try
that's
walking-
so deep.
That's
Go ahead.
literally
Try
what I
walking
felt.
into somebody's house that has the elevator in that house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot pay your mortgage.
Right.
Ooh.
I can't pay your
You
light
better
bill.
not get sick.
I can't pay your light bill because you got to have an elevator. You know that's how it's big.
Raynard just said something that was so deep. When we're talking about like what can I do for her? Women, this is something else I learned in my first marriage. We are so big on I don't need no man. I could do good by myself. You know, like if you have a man, the minute he start acting up, I can get everything I need, I can get for myself. And I'll never forget my pastor's wife. She told me this. She said we were just talking about relationships. I wasn't necessarily saying that, but I think she probably got the impression that maybe my mindset, because I was going through some things in my relationship, I was like, well, you know what? I don't have to put up with this. She said, any man, if they are with you, if they feel as if there's nothing they can do for you, if you can do everything for yourself,
Mhm.
they're thinking, well, what am I going to do for you?
What
Mm.
does she
And
need me?
men, they like to feel,
Needed.
even though they don't like to always they have feelings,
Mhm.
they have emotions. They don't always like to put it out there. They like to guard it. They like to protect it. Are you worthy of it? And as a result, when you're in a situation where they are intimate with you, and I'm not just talking about physical intimacy, emotional, and they get to the point where they feel like, my goodness, there is nothing I can contribute. It literally makes them feel
Less than a man.
less than a man, because
Wow.
part of who they are and the way they are wired is to provide, protect, be of some value
Mhm.
to a woman. So you have to, so in essence, she was saying, you don't have to, even though you got it, you don't got to act like you got it, and you don't got to say you got it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know,
Wow.
sometimes you just got to let them do it. So when I was a single woman for like about, 12 years between the first marriage and the second marriage, there's some things I just had to learn to just let him do. Not that I couldn't do it, but it was so automatic for me
Right,
Mhm.
to
right.
take care of some things. And then I had to learn, it doesn't make you any less of a woman.
Wow.
If anything,
Let a man be a man.
yeah, let him be who he is, and it actually pours into him.
And it makes us feel good to know real men, grown men.
All right now.
This is what we like. We like when we know you could do it without me, but you allow me to do it. And if we do it together, guess what's going to happen? We're going to reach our goals 10 times faster.
Can I say one thing? I got to big up my wife because
All right now.
one thing that she does, and she makes a lot more money than me. It can be anything. This happened not too long ago. I think it was like a $50 pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my mind, you know, I will just spend $50 and be
Mhm.
like, she's gonna, hey babe, it's these shoes that I saw. They're $50. Can I buy them? I'm like, are you serious? She like, yeah, I just want to have your approval. I just want to know that it's okay with you. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, yeah, babe, go ahead and buy it. She like, okay, I just want to make sure that it was okay with you because I like to know that you're okay with that. And she
Wow.
does that all the time.
And
And I just want to thank her for that.
and listen,
Oh,
that's not a sign of weakness.
Nah,
That's a sign of mutual respect.
mutual respect.
And let me tell you something, man. You just said something that's key. You don't think she knows she make way more money than you?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Man, listen.
But you know what the average person would do? Well, I gotta ask them. Can I buy?
Exactly.
And,
You know what I'm saying?
and I know this young lady. She has a very flamboyant personality, beautiful personality. I've saw her sit and watch her talk to older people, and I've seen her talk to a small child the same way. She has a beautiful personality, very wide open. But when I tell you that is beautiful to hear that from this man to say she's that humble.
Oh man, she is humble.
Oh
Man, humility is gorgeous.
It
You
was
hear me?
It's almost scary.
Humility is gorgeous,
That's
man.
beautiful.
And she's pouring into you, like
Yeah.
even just your whole physical disposition as you were telling the story. You know, your shoulders went back. You're
Yeah.
like,
You're proud of his
yeah.
woman.
And you know what I respect about you too. There are some men that will take that and like, yeah, like I'm the man. Yeah, don't spend that money, or
Right.
yeah, you like use it as a thing to feel like they're in control.
Mm.
But clearly, you're comfortable where you are as a man. You don't have to flex like that.
Not only is he comfortable, he's realistic. Know what he said to himself? You asking me, can you spend $50?
Yeah.
You know,
But you would be surprised.
no, I'm not. I won't be surprised. I'm admiring him
Yeah,
for saying,
definitely.
first of all, she showed humility, and so did he.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, babe, of course. I mean,
Go right ahead.
get what you want. I mean, he didn't have to show no pride. For what?
That's
For
good
what?
stuff.
Right.
That's
He
good
pull
stuff.
that pride picture,
Yeah.
that pride fork if he want to, and see what happens.
Stay in that lane and just ride it out.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Right.
I'm blessed.
Right.
I'm
Ain't no
blessed.
sense of going over the little middleman, getting the bumps and bruises. Cause that's what you're gonna get when you come across and tell somebody how to spend their money.
Phyllis said, "Amen."
Okay, I made this money, you didn't.
Yeah.
I heard that.
So listen, we're getting ready to do a shotgun array questions real quick
Okay.
Shotgun.
because we're narrowing down. We have 3 questions we want to knock out as fast as we
Okay.
can. Although you want to,
Okay. So
Knock 'em
yeah,
down.
let's get it popping real quick.
All
So
right.
this is good right here. So if a partner is caught,
well, no. Say that for the last.
Okay.
Yes,
Say that
yes,
for
that's
last.
what I was thinking.
Okay.
Do this one.
We'll go there. Okay. So white lies, do they get a pass? The little small lies.
You want to get this one
I
first?
mean,
babe?
I just feel like lies are lies.
Thank
Lies are
you.
lie. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, you know, we don't sit here in judgment of anybody like we've never lied before, but that is not something
Whoa.
that
You said we. Talk about yourself now.
he's a mess. He's a mess. If you're human, you've lied before.
Girl, yes. I
Yes,
was a professional.
And I think people call it a little white lie to maybe feel more comfortable
Yeah.
about it.
Mhm.
And I guess I'm kind of old school in that saying, if you lie, you cheat, you steal,
You steal, you kill.
I just feel
Ooh,
like
yeah,
you
you
just start to develop
good
a
and old.
pattern
Mhm,
of being comfortable with lying.
mhm.
And so I think truth and honesty are some pillars
Mhm.
in a strong relationship. All lies. I mean, when you think about it, why do you have to tell the white lie? What is it that you're avoiding?
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and once again, avoidance of things, that thing just boomerangs and
Comes back.
comes
Right
back
back.
full circle.
Wow.
So I believe you have to confront things even when we don't feel like it.
Yeah.
That is next question.
Oh, okay.
Why do people fear relationships?
Mm. Well, I think we kind of discussed it. There are several reasons. One, you may not be ready for the commitment. So that's a fear. Secondly, you could have been hurt before, and so you're a little bit fearful of making that leap again. So I know just talking with people, those are normally the 2 major ones. I enjoyed the company, but I wasn't trying to get serious. I wasn't trying to fall in love. And I've heard women say that.
All right.
Yeah,
More so
I-
these days.
yes.
Mhm.
You know, usually that's a guideline, right?
All right,
But now the women are saying it, you know, and so that made me realize that the moral compass of society has shifted. It is
Yes.
definitely out of calibration.
definitely.
And when people want the benefits of a relationship but not the commitments.
And sometimes it's because they want to stay in their comfort zone.
Right.
They don't
Say that.
want to change. Like when you're in a honestly, if you really want to be in a good relationship, you can't go in there thinking
I'm
well,
never gonna change.
I'm never gonna change. I'm
Ain't
gonna
nothing
be who
wrong
I'm
with
gonna
me.
be.
Hmm.
I'm not
Wrong
talking
with
about somebody changing you as in controlling you. I'm
Mhm.
talking about those natural changes that need to
Mhm.
happen. I truly believe in iron sharpens iron.
Mhm.
There are things within me that he helps to refine. There are things within him that I help to refine.
Come
And
on.
if you're just going to be stuck and comfortable, you're going to be stuck and comfortable.
Wow. Come on now.
And
Real love is risky.
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna take some
Wow.
chances.
Wow.
Because
but
the-
don't
the-
be foolish.
The
Yeah.
first no. And when I
Mhm.
say chances, I'm not talking about no foolish chances.
Right,
I'm talking
right,
about you're
right.
gonna take chances with your emotions.
Mhm.
You have to be vulnerable.
Yep. But ooh.
If you are
Vulnerable.
not vulnerable in the context of your relationship, you're not really in a relationship.
Wow. Say that.
And
Come
you're
on,
definitely not growing.
Can we say transparency?
Yeah, yeah,
Transparency.
yeah.
The way
yeah.
I put it is, you will experience love to the same degree that you're willing to sacrifice and give that love. Like if you do it with measure, if you measure it, that's what you're gonna get out of the relationship.
Wow.
So what you investing is what you're gonna get
Yeah.
back in dividends.
You can't love fearfully.
Yeah,
Nope. I'll
if you
take that.
close your fist,
Mhm.
you can't get anything.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody getting the word.
Praise him.
we have one last final
Uh-oh.
question.
This must be a doozy. Because I
This-
heard him say, make that one last.
Yeah, make this one last. This that one comes from the bottom.
From the bottom.
If a partner is caught in infidelity, is it over?
Well, again, we believe in biblical principles, right?
Okay.
Now, from a biblical perspective, God says that there's two reasons why a husband and a wife can part ways, right?
Right.
One is in adultery,
Mhm.
and the other one is sexual immoralities. Okay. Now,
Break that sexual immorality.
you
down.
doing you playing with animals
clarify.
and all kind of. I mean, you doing some deviant behavior.
Gotcha.
It's you molesting kids or you. Those are sexual immoralities. Those things those are the two things that he says you can part ways with, and you will not be considered an adulterer if you get into another relationship, right? But then let me say something else. He said he hates divorce. So if you can work it out, work it out.
Okay.
So is it over? Not necessarily. You know, because if I love this person, I genuinely love this person, I have to take a lot of things into account.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I have to be honest with myself to say, even though what she did was wrong, I have to consider, did I contribute in any way to her possibly feeling or even conceiving to do something of that magnitude?
Miss
You
Rachel, can you weigh in on that,
Yes,
please?
he is hitting. I mean, it's perfect what he's saying, because I mean the segues, the things I'm thinking about. I see your cousin. She says, yes, that is reason, or I forgot how she put it. Yes, it can be over. But let me just say this. When somebody cheats on you and there's been infidelity, there's been betrayal, let's peel back the layer. Many times before the physical manifestation of betrayal takes place, there are other betrayals that take place within a relationship. There's some emotional betrayal that has taken place. And so we tend to harp on, he cheated, he slept with somebody else, she slept with somebody else, and that gets fused in our brains where that's the only thing we can think about, because we're so caught up in the fact that you physically gave yourself to someone. But then there are other betrayals that get swept under the rug because they weren't
that are equally as damaging.
But they weren't so apparent. And I'm not saying that if he was to cheat on me that I made him cheat. He made the choice
right
to do that. But what is the part that I play in the destruction of the relationship that would make him even think about, you know what, there's something I'm not getting here, so I need to go and get it there.
Now that's one side.
That's one side of
But
it.
let me
Give the other side of
the
it.
other side is she did nothing. She was doing everything right. I was just undisciplined and greedy
There you
and
go.
prideful.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? She was a great wife. She gave it to me when I wanted it, like I wanted it. You know,
There you
but
go.
I just saw something else I wanted.
Mhm.
That was a form of greed. That was a form of selfishness,
Mhm.
and that was a form of pride. Undisciplined. I was undisciplined. So we're not negating to anyone, male or female. We're not saying that you necessarily had to have done something if this is happening to you. We're asking you to entertain all of the angles, because what people tend to do is, like she said, I only want to focus on the fact that you cheated. I ain't gonna tell you that I was never at home, and and every time you asked for something, my head was hurting,
Or we went 3 months
right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell y'all about that part,
Right.
but you cheated. You know,
Wow.
we don't want to be mature enough to say,
Right.
maybe I did play a role
Let me be
in
introspective.
this person even having that mindset to go there. You know, and if we can do that, we can go through those stages, and even if it's a situation where you were doing everything right, quote unquote, and they cheated, you now have a choice. Do I want to forgive and we work through this, or do I want to call it quits? And for those of you who've experienced this, listen to me well. If you decide that I want to stay in it,
This is big, yo.
if you decide I want to stay in it, you cannot hold it over that person's head for the rest of the relationship.
Well, both of them have a responsibility.
Mhm.
Both have a
And
responsibility.
somebody here said, what if the person gets caught more than once? Both of them have the responsibility. I'm going to pull that point in just a minute. You cannot hold it over their head once. So let's say he cheated on me. I can't hold it over his head for the rest of our lives, but yet he has a responsibility to restore what was broken.
Right.
So what that means is, if she's feeling insecure about something, he's the one calling and saying, baby, I'm on my way home. I just left the gym, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing wrong with that, because there was something that was broken.
I destroyed the trust.
I destroyed it.
Mhm.
Now, if they do it more than once or over and over again,
There's a pattern of behavior.
if there's a pattern of behavior, and I've known people who had pattern of behavior, and believe it or not, their relationship was restored. And the reason why it was restored was because both individuals made a decision to do the work to stop the behavior of the one who was going out cheating and whatever other behaviors that other spouse was manifesting. So it can be salvaged. It can't be a thing of, I want to make it work. I really want my husband, because you're really insecure and the husband ain't thinking about it. He's wilding out, loving what he's doing.
I say this: how do you make the decision? I want to answer this question because I know somebody's gonna want to know. How do you make the decision to stay if they've done it multiple times? And here's what I'm going to say to you. I told you life is in two parts: spiritual and practical. You have to now go to God. God, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. Do you want me to stay here? And trust me, you're going to get an answer. You're going to get an answer. And you just have to be willing to, abide by or, adhere, obey that response that you get. And some of us going to get the answer we didn't really want to hear.
Okay.
And normally God's going to side on the, hey, try to work it out. But God is not he's not malicious. If he knows that person's not going to change, he ain't going to tell you to stay.
Right.
He'll be like, okay, look, I already gave you an out. Go on, take it.
And it goes back to what I said, what we were saying earlier. You got to be willing to be introspective.
Yeah.
And do the work. If there's some work within you that needs to happen, you got to do the work. The other person's got to
Phyllis said, I pray about it. That's right.
Yeah,
Phyllis, pray about
you
it.
definitely got to pray about that
Yeah.
thing, because it's serious when you're dealing with, I think most people can say, I've been cheated on. There are very few people who have been adults and in a relationship and can say they haven't been. Good for them. I've been cheated on. It doesn't feel good. But in the midst of that, when I was at my lowest point, I was praying, I was fasting, I was doing everything I thought I could do. I also had to make sure, I said, you know what, Rachel, if this relationship doesn't work out, you got to be of some good
Mm-hmm.
after this.
After
So you continue to do the work. It's not in vain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the encouragement I give to individuals who you feel like you're trying to get your relationship on the right track, but the other person isn't. Continue to do your work. Pray about it. Ask the Lord what you need to do. That way, when you come out of that thing, you come out better than you started.
Okay.
okay.
Wow.
If we can, last line. If you used to say anything from relationship, real talk, what would it be? Any advice that you would give the people right now, if you could sum it up in 20 seconds, what would it be?
I would say this: if you're in a relationship or you're considering to be in a relationship, you must understand this one thing: you will have to change. Don't be fearful of change. There are things about you that are going to have to be adjusted for you to marry your life with someone else. And if you are not okay with that, a relationship is probably not something you want to get involved in. You have to be okay with asking yourself, is it me? Could I be the problem? You know, and being willing to change and being willing to ask yourself, is it me? Those are two vital components to fostering a healthy relationship.
And as you're changing, be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Hey man,
Be comfortable with being
you got yourself
uncomfortable.
something right here, man.
She all right. I'm gonna keep.
She all right with me, man.
I'm
Man,
gonna
can we get Thrive 365? Can we get them some hearts, please? Matter of fact, no, can we as we get ready to close this thing out, man, we definitely want the people to know. First of all, we want them to know about your event.
Okay.
First and foremost, you can give them how they can find you and everything, but I want them to know about this event because it's imperative. I'm a single man and I plan to attend.
Man, that's funny.
Okay.
Look, man, we would definitely welcome you. You can go to our website, jimmieandrachel.com. That is JIMMIEAND Rachel.com. And you can go to events and the information about that event is there. Also, we have if you are a traditional couple, you're a married couple, or you are an engaged couple, we have a Facebook group that's called Relationship Real Talk Group. Go to that group page and and join it. So ask for an invite or ask to be added to that group. It is a private group. And the reason it's private is because we only wanted this to be for married people or people who are seriously thinking about being married. I mean, you're engaged. And in this group, we're going to be doing a lot of fun things. We will be taking trips. But during the course of the trips, of course, we're going to have fun, but we're going to be doing things to empower our relationships. We're going to be working on things to make our relationship stronger.
And if you're single, and just like you said, single people who want to know exactly what they need to do so that they can get into a healthy relationship, on Sunday evenings from 6 to 7, we do a Facebook Live, and you can go to our
you can go to I currently do it on my page and also on our group page, but for those of you who are already following Thrive 365 and Dietrich, I always share that information with them so you can tune in and watch it through them.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I tuned in Sunday. I had a great time. I wish I could have been there. I had an awesome time, man. I really did.
Thank
yes,
you,
we
man.
saw your comment.
Yeah,
We appreciate
yeah.
your support.
I was trying not to say nothing ignorant.
It's all good. It's all good.
That is Nato. Real quick, would you like to say anything to the people?
I just want to say thank you for this, those gems, those nuggets, man. You blessed me. I know y'all blessed some of our viewers and listeners out there. It was a pleasure. I hope to do it again.
And thank you all for having us. We enjoyed it.
This.
We
Thank
enjoyed
you
it
so much.
That is. Hey, so people, hopefully we'll do it again soon. Y'all stay tuned. Check in next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Thrive 365. This is where success, substance, and relationships matter. This has been sponsored by Jag Life Travel. 21 Gun Salute. Not old. We love you.
All right.